Hi guys, hope you're well. It's Louis in the UK. So my name's Louis. I'm 57 in a few weeks. I'm in Southwest UK. I'm a lifelong Elvis fan. That's all you need to know. I'm not in any way trying to say anything negative about Elvis. We have been talking about Priscilla a lot. I just want to make it clear. I am not a Priscilla hater. I do not hate Priscilla. I think Priscilla has made many mistakes, and I will list all her mistakes and I will break down all the different things that has gone on between. And I will list all her mistakes. All right, let me just turn this down. So I'm just checking on here because my audio every now and then is stopping. So if the audio stops, guys, if the connection stops, let me know, because I'm having internet problems at the moment with my connection. I have reported it, so it should be sorted. But anyway, as I was saying, I will talk deeply about Priscilla, the ins and outs of what happened to them from 1959 to today. And a lot of the things I say about Priscilla are quite serious. They're quite strong words. I'm quite passionate about it. But I'm not hating on Priscilla. I'm not trying to be nasty. I'm not trying to stir up hate. I just want to get to the truth, guys. Just want to get to the truth. Yeah. I just want to find out if the things that she did to Elvis were fair, if the things that she did to Riley Keough and Lisa Marie Presley were right or wrong. And unfortunately, I am finding out that a lot of wrongdoing was done by Priscilla for the last 40 odd years. And some of it is very shocking. Anyway, someone messaged me last night saying, did you know that Jerry Schilling had an affair with Priscilla? So this got me thinking. So I started thinking, well, let's look into Priscilla. Let's look into Jerry Schilling. Let's find out more about them. Now, don't forget, we are spoon-fed that Jerry Schilling and Elvis were the greatest of friends, were very close. And Jerry Schilling is very likable. He's always been one of the Memphis Mafia that I really liked, yeah, that came across very genuine. But I have heard on and off that Jerry Schilling has had affairs with Priscilla. Now, is this true, guys? You tell me. Give me any information. Because if it is true, it's very wrong. And I've heard rumors that it happened when Elvis was still alive. I've also heard rumors it happened when Elvis was still with Priscilla. But I've also heard rumors that it has been happening on and off after Elvis died, right to this current day. Now, I have seen that Jerry Schilling has always been very close to Lisa Marie Presley. And the most recent, we know that Jerry Schilling took Lisa Marie to the Golden Globe Awards, obviously just before Lisa Marie passed away, which is so sad. So it's a difficult one, me talking about Jerry Schilling, because I've seen so many good interviews with Jerry Schilling talking about Elvis, even with the Memphis Mafia, with Jerry Schilling present, talking about Elvis so fondly. And I've seen many interviews of Jerry Schilling, who's very proud and loves to boast that Elvis bought him a house and gave him many things, obviously cars, etc. And I've seen interviews where Jerry Schilling was so proud to have become Elvis's friend. I think they originally met and they used to play football together in the fields, I think across from Lauderdale Courts, where Elvis lived. I think Jerry Schilling really secretly would pray that he could be Elvis's friend, and it became a reality. And it's obvious that Elvis really liked Jerry Schilling and trusted him. He was a good-looking man. He always praises how much fun they had, how happy he was. And so every now and then I'm just going to check that the audio hasn't cut out. So let's have a look. I'm just going to click on it and see if I can hear me talking. Just going to click on it. Here we go. Right, okay. Let's just keep that like that. So I'm worried about the internet connection cutting out. But if it does cut out, guys, I'm just going to restart it and do a part 2. Right. So initially, what I want to do is just type in Jerry Schilling and go through what it says about him. But I'm also going to type in Priscilla and see what it says as well. So I have clicked on a few links. So I want to go through things with you guys about Jerry Schilling. Let's just learn about him. To be honest with you, I don't really know much about Jerry Schilling. Do you guys? I know that he isn't the only surviving member of the Memphis Mafia. Let's see if it's going to let me click on it. Right, let's have a go. Jerry Schilling, born. Hi, Gail. I just thought I'd have a chat about Jerry Schilling. And is it possible that Jerry Schilling and Priscilla had an affair? What do you know, Gail? Did they have an affair? But anyway, I just want to talk about him, find out a bit more about Jerry Schilling, and we'll go from there. Jerry Schilling. Oh, yeah, and please let me know if the audio cuts out or if the internet cuts out, because I'm having problems at the moment. Jerry Schilling was born February the 6th, 1942 in Memphis, Tennessee, in an American talent manager who was associated with Elvis Presley and was a member of the Presley Memphis Mafia from the latter part of the 1960s. His other clients included the Beach Boys and Jerry Lee Lewis and Lisa Marie Presley. I think most Elvis fans know that Jerry Schilling was the manager of the Beach Boys, still, and I think maybe still is. Yes, him and Billy. So you're saying Billy had an affair with Priscilla as well? Now, that's the first time I've heard that. I'm going to have to look into that. Right, let's keep going. Let's see what we can get here. Right, I'm just going to click on anything to do with Jerry Schilling and just see what happens. Right, all right, there's a story here about Jerry Schilling and when he and him being there when they met the Beatles, which that's actually for another video. That's very interesting. I've actually done a few videos on Elvis meeting the Beatles, but that isn't for today. Let's have a look. Right, he is the ultimate peacemaker. Elvis Presley's dearest friend, Lisa Marie's godfather, Jerry Schilling. I didn't know that. Jerry Schilling is Lisa Marie's godfather. I've learned something new today. Who officiated at Riley Keough's wedding, is the family rock who helped Priscilla's trust settlement with the granddaughter. Now, that's not a surprise, is it? Because Jerry Schilling is like that with Priscilla. So, and that's the basis of what we're talking about now. So, Jerry Schilling was the one listening to Priscilla and Riley and pushing for reconciliation away from the courts over Lisa Marie's will, and family source tells Daily Mail. And I'm starting to, Teresa, hi Teresa, let me know where you're from. I'm Louis. Do you know what's funny? Because I always thought Jerry Schilling was the nice guy, but I'm starting to learn bits that maybe he wasn't. Maybe he wasn't the friend to Elvis that we thought he was. And I do know that Elvis did tell Jerry Schilling off for getting too friendly with Priscilla, because Jerry Schilling admits it in his own words in his interviews. More than once I've seen him admit it, that Elvis would not like it if anyone got too friendly with Priscilla. Right. Elvis, dear Presley and mentor Jerry Schilling played a key role in brokering the settlement between Priscilla Presley and Riley Keough in their bitter feud over Lisa Marie's multi-million-dollar estate, the Daily Mail has learned. Yeah, and this is what I'm trying to find out here in this live stream, guys. How much of a genuine friend was Jerry? I'd like to know. The King of Rock and Roll's ex-wife and her granddaughter finally reached an agreement over the late singer's trust on Tuesday. But let's see. We know about that. But what I want to know is, what was Jerry Schilling's part in it? So let's keep looking. Sorry, my internet's being annoying. So when I click on stuff, it disappears. Okay, let's keep going. But according to a Las Vegas source close to the family, it was a largely thanks to the talented manager Jerry Schilling, who is now 81, who officiated Keoph's wedding in 2015 and spoke at Lisa Marie's memorial and stayed with Priscilla at Elvis Graceland during her pregnancy. After he helped ease tensions behind the scenes, Schilling is the ultimate peacemaker. The source told Daily Mail he has been a rock and a key part of Priscilla Presley's family for nearly 70 years, was a godfather to Lisa Marie, and is referred to Keough as Uncle Jerry. So Riley Keough, I found out yesterday that Riley Keough's first name is Danielle. Did you know that, guys? Riley Keough's real name is Danielle. So Riley Keough called Danielle Riley Keough, calls Jerry Schilling Uncle Jerry. The source told, right, let's keep going. You've seen all these pictures, guys. I know that Lisa Marie really trusted Jerry, but we will see. Elvis' close friend and talent manager Jerry Schilling played an instrumental role in the Priscilla Presley and granddaughters Riley Keough's settlement. Okay, we've said that. So, come on, let's get to we want the Jerry Schilling bit. Jerry holds a really unique status in the family. The Vegas source said he was the one who kept the conversation going between the two women while the lawyers were going to their thing. Jerry was the one listening to both women and pushing for reconciliation away from the court, and clearly his efforts worked. After Lisa Marie's sudden death in January, a legal war was waged between her mother, Priscilla, 77, and the oldest daughter, Riley, 33. Right. The conflict arose because of the amendment in 2016. Former business manager and Priscilla and trustee instead of control to Keough and Benjamin. Okay, we all know this. We've been through this many times. Just days after Lisa's memorial, Priscilla's lawyer filed a petition on the authenticity and validity of the amendment. Okay, we know all this. We know the outcome. Jerry was always adamant that this could be worked out rather than exploding into a big legal war. The insider told the Daily Mail he has maintained dialogue and cordial conversation between the ladies and other family members. He was pivotal in the family working now to make a long-term peace. He likes to stay in the background on these matters, but cares deeply about Riley and Priscilla. Now, my worry here is that he is very close to Priscilla and always has been, and he will have her back. This is my worry. So I think many of you fans feel that the agreement that was settled between Priscilla and Riley Keough was very unfair. You guys didn't want her to be buried at Graceland. You're shocked that she's still getting a wage. She's still getting a salary from EPE Enterprises as an advisor to Riley Keough. And they paid Priscilla's legal fees. Wasn't that $400,000? People are not happy about that because at the end of the day, Priscilla is the one that disputed everything. So the Elvis fans are unhappy about that. And there's a few other things that were agreed in the settlement. I think you can find the documents online. And I personally think that if Jerry Schilling did help out with the resolution between Riley and Priscilla, that it was a bad resolution because the things that were agreed, people are very unhappy about. Now, it's a difficult one for Riley because she doesn't have that many blood relatives, Presley blood relatives. So it is her grandmother. So she's trying to be fair to everyone. But I think where Riley might be going wrong, and I wonder if this has anything to do with Scientology, because I think Scientology were involved in these agreements, these resolutions behind the scenes. We know John Travolta got involved at some point as well. And I think that for me is worrying, that Scientology and Jerry Schilling have managed to convince Riley Keough, or Keough, whatever you want to call her, into agreeing to things I don't think the fans want her to do. I don't think the fans are happy with the things that Riley Keough has agreed to with Priscilla. What do you think, guys? Now, I'm not trying to dish Riley Keough. I'm sure she's a lovely person. But this influence from outside people, especially Scientology and Jerry Schilling. And bearing in mind, Riley Keough's family are into Scientology, are part of Scientology, aren't they? Not just, I think Danny, her father, but there's other people that were heavily into it. Isn't Finley and Harper's father, Lockwood, isn't he involved in Scientology as well? What do you think, guys? Right, just read this comment from Teresa. Jerry is out for himself. Jerry will never say any bad about Priscilla. Jerry's out for money. Why didn't Jerry help Lisa? Don't worry, Priscilla. Jerry still and Priscilla and Jerry still sleep together. So this is what we're trying to find out, really. So, right. So I mean, obviously, there's a lot of pictures here showing Jerry going right back to the 70s. Jerry became a trusted confidant and was part of Elvis's inner entourage, known as the Memphis Mafia. We all know that. He has been a rock to all of them and many times navigated them through good and bad times. The talent manager who reported act like Jerry Lee Lewis and the Beach Boys first became friends with Elvis playing football in the Memphis Mafia. No, playing football in Memphis in 1954. And I heard this, how they met. Elvis's love of football. He also loved soccer, didn't he, Elvis? Right, Gail. It was Jerry who helped an affair with Priscilla and not Billy Smith. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I've listened to loads of Billy Smith's interviews. I know about his channel and his son's channel. It's very interesting, Gail. Very interesting. Right. He was an energetic 12-year-old while the king of rock and roll was 7 years his senior, but their close friendship lasted until the star's death in 1977. Schilling became a trusted confidant and was part of the Elvis inner circle known as the Memphis Mafia, even acting as a stunt double in his movies. Lucky them. In fact, all of the Memphis Mafia that had small bit roles through Elvis's movie career all through the 60s. How lucky were they? How lucky were they, to all of them, to get these small roles in Elvis's movies? Must have been a dream come true for all of them. He became close with Priscilla during a 6-year marriage to Elvis and has remained a close friend to her since. Elvis even asked Schilling to stay with the pair at Graceland before Priscilla gave birth to Lisa Marie in 1968. And they say it's a 6-year marriage, guys. If you really break it down, how much of that 6 years were they actually together? Because I see that they really had split up around 1971 and they divorced in 73. So you knock those 2 years off. Don't forget, they married in 67. They had Lisa Marie in 68. Well, by 68, after Lisa Marie was born, she was having an affair with dance instructor Steve Peck. So 68 doesn't even come into it. So you really think about it. You take away 68, you take away 71 and 72. How many years were they actually married and happy? We're talking 2 or 3 years. That's what I see. And even that, I think, were quite unhappy times. A lot of arguments, a lot of wrongdoing happening. So I'm not convinced about this lovely marriage. Yeah, I know who Billy Smith is. I'm very aware of Billy Smith. I've done loads of videos on Billy Smith. And thanks for letting me know, Gail. And let's keep going. In 2006, he wrote a book about his bond with the king called Me and a Guy Named Elvis. I've never read that. Have you guys? Which gave an insight into the highs and lows of his rock and roll legend friend. In 2015, Schilling officiated Riley's wedding to Australian stuntman Ben Smith Peterson. I didn't know that. I've just learned something new. And Ben Smith Peterson seems like a nice guy. I like that he has nothing to do with Scientology. I like that. Because if you look at a lot of the relationships, like I think Lockwood and Danny Q, this all comes from Scientology. They met all through Scientology, and I don't really like that. And of course, I'm pretty sure Finley and Harper are being schooled or were being schooled through Scientology. We know Benjamin was being schooled through Scientology. We know Riley Keough was schooled through Scientology. Is this all correct, guys? Because if I'm saying something wrong, please tell me. So any influence from Scientology over Riley Q and her family worries me. And as far as I can tell, Priscilla is still heavily involved with Scientology, and they very much behind the scenes have got her back and are trying to help her through all this mess that she's got herself in. So from going right back to the Barry Siegel lawsuit from Lisa Marie Presley and coming forward to the disagreements with Lisa Marie Presley to do with the alteration in 2016 of the trust. And then even now with the Bridget Cruz trial that's ongoing as we speak, the auctioneer that is also, I think, has a history of being a lawyer, and Priscilla Presley is trying to get out of that and denying everything and saying that she didn't know what she was signing. Even that lawsuit, I think behind the scenes, Scientology are quite involved in all of that. I am guessing a bit, but I have that feeling. And I also think, worryingly, and I'm not saying this to badmouth Riley Q, I got a feeling that behind the scenes that Scientology are having an influence even with Riley Q. I really hope that's not true. I know that many of you fans of Elvis and Riley Q are also worried that Scientology might be influencing the decisions that are being made today. And many of you are worried about what happens with Graceland and the grounds and the artifacts. We know that Riley Q is still the owner, but controlling Gracelands is Elvis Presley Enterprises. And we know 85% of Elvis Presley Enterprises has nothing to do with Riley Q. She does still retain 15% of it, but the controlling side of Graceland is controlled by Elvis Presley Enterprises. So any influence from Scientology for me is a worry. And I've also heard this, that if there are no Presley descendants left alive, 50% of Elvis Presley Enterprises goes to Scientology. Now that for me is a scary thought. Is that true? I think it is, because I've read it quite a few times. It was one of the conditions when Elvis Presley Enterprises changed hands. That was one of the conditions. Now, am I right or am I wrong? See, we know Joel Weishankar is like the king of EPE, Elvis Presley Enterprise, and Jack Sodden as well. So it's all a bit worrying, guys. Schilling hired Lisa Marie as a secretary before becoming her manager for pop career. Let's have a look. In a speech, he reflected on his bond with the late singer, who he nicknamed Memphis, telling the story of how Elvis asked him to stay for the birth of the daughter. See, I didn't know about that. The source close to Schilling said he saw it as his duty to support his late friend Elvis's wishes. Now, did Jerry Schilling have a crush on Priscilla way back then? Now, remember, she was a beautiful woman, very beautiful. And Elvis was left at Graceland alone with Priscilla for many, many months, weeks, if not years. So did stuff go on? Now, it's pretty obvious that Priscilla had a wandering eye and fancied the men and would fall in love quite easily. And now remember, if she's at Graceland or one of the other houses alone with other men, who knows what went on? We know that she had a history of being unfaithful. She did. I know that everyone talks about Elvis's unfaithfulness, but she was as well, which means it definitely is possible that she had an affair with Jerry Schilling, and maybe Elvis even picked up on it. There's definitely a chance, guys. What do you think? Do you think Elvis had a feeling that Jerry and Priscilla were up to no good? Please let me know in the comments. Right. Riley is wrong to give Priscilla money. Lisa would never like that. And Riley gave Priscilla any money. This is Teresa on her comment. And I agree. I agree. I am not happy. You know, I'm just a fan. It's none of my business. But I am not happy with all the things that have been agreed with Riley Q and these big decisions with Priscilla that the fans are very, very worried about. The fans really want to be involved in. the fans are being completely left out of this. Of course, it's not our business, really. It's not our money. It's not our property. Yes, we are the lovers of the legacy, and we are proud of everything Elvis and his image. We want his image to stay good. But some of these decisions worry me, some of them. But it's early days. Let's see how things unfold. We don't really know, do we? Right. Just to say, guys, if the internet stops or if my audio stops, please let me know. Right. Jerry has always seen himself as a protector of Elvis's wishes and Graceland too. Now, I will say this. When I watch Jerry Schilling's interviews, he will praise Elvis constantly. He's very proud of Elvis. He's very proud of having a life with Elvis and everything that happened between him and Elvis. And he's a big defender of Elvis. But that doesn't mean there hasn't been wrongdoing here. It doesn't mean that nothing happened between him and Priscilla. Now, I don't know. I really hope nothing did happen because he does seem like a nice person. I don't know. Priscilla is happy. Her attorney, Ronson Shimon, said the family are happy and unified and together and excited for the future. Now, do we fans, guys, you tell me, do we think they're happy and unified for the future? I find that hard to believe because such serious things have happened so recently. Does Riley Keough really like the fact that her grandmother is running around the world doing personal appearances and trying to make more money, even though she has lost her daughter recently? Does Riley really like that? Priscilla shouldn't be running around the world trying to make money. She should be with her grandkids, shouldn't she? Do you agree with that, guys? Who at 79 is running around trying to make money? Come on. It's unusual, right? Priscilla is happy. All right, let's have a look. Asked if Riley too was happy with the settlement, the attorney Justin Gold told the Daily Mail she would not have agreed to the settlement if she was not happy with it. Well, that isn't true because she may be out of her depth. This is really serious corporate decisions, yeah? And don't forget, she's a smart girl. We know she was a model, an actress. I think she runs a film producing company and she's made some films. She's a smart woman, but she's under a lot of different pressures here for when it comes to Graceland and Elvis Presley Enterprises and all the big decisions that are being made. She's got a grandmother on her case. So at the end of the day, she is her grandmother. It is blood. So I personally think that Riley Keough has been pressured into making some big decisions that she may regret and she may go back on because it isn't definite that Priscilla is going to be buried at Graceland, is it? It's only if it's possible. This is what Riley Keough agreed to. If it's possible, she may get buried at Graceland. Now, I know some of you fans are saying that for her to be buried next to Elvis, they'd have to dig up 2 graves. I'm trying to remember who they were. You tell me, guys. Now, do I think they're going to dig up anyone next to Elvis so they can bury Priscilla? No. Do I think that Priscilla will get buried at Graceland? Not really. Not really, but it is possible. The lawyers also declared in court Tuesday that the woman had reached a settlement on a second trust involving Lisa Marie's insurance policies thought to total $35 million. I know nothing about that. Judge Scaduto scheduled a hearing on August the 4th, the court to give official approval of both settlements. Right. My family has resolved all its confusions and it relates to our plea to the court and request for document interpretation after my daughter Lisa Marie's untimely passing, the statement said. Although some media identified such a plea as a lawsuit, I want to make it clear that there was never a lawsuit filed against my beloved granddaughter. As a family, we are pleased that we resolved this together. Now, come on, guys. Maybe it wasn't an official lawsuit, but it was a threat of a lawsuit. It really was. If you don't give me this, this, and this, I'm going to do this. And I do think Riley Keough wanted to avoid a massive lawsuit with her own grandmother. So she was between a rock and a hard place. And for some reason, she chose to resolve things and agree to things I don't really think Riley Keough really wanted to agree to. So let's just read some of these comments. Riley is wrong to give Priscilla money. Lisa would never like Riley gave Priscilla any money. And then the next comment from Teresa. Priscilla had no right to pull the plug on Lisa. And why didn't she wait for Riley twins? Does it bother Riley that Priscilla pulled the plug on her mum? Now, this is a very common comment I'm getting in my channel. And I don't know how much truth there is. And if you look on Spotlight Spy's YouTube account, there's some videos in there that talk about the timeline of Lisa Marie's heart attacks. Obviously, she had a bowel blockage, didn't she? And the timeline of at what point it was decided to unplug the machine, and if Priscilla was involved in that process on making the decision to unplug the machine. And I want to go through that Spotlight Spy video with you guys and break down the timeline and try and understand what happened when it led to the machine being unplugged for Lisa Marie. Obviously, we know that at a certain point, they say she was brain dead and she was just being kept alive by the machine. So that is for another video. I do want to do a video about what all the different steps that led to the point where the machine was unplugged. So I understand your comment, Teresa. It's all of it sounds very scary, all of it. And I don't know enough about it to really comment fully and understand fully at this point. But I will do. I'm going to look into it. Riley always supported her mother during drawn-out, bitter, contested divorce and child custody disputes with her fourth husband and musician Michael Lockwood, age 61. Lockwood is father of Lisa Marie's 14-year-old twin daughters, Finley and Harper. Now, even Lockwood, isn't he heavily involved with Scientology? You tell me, guys. Again, I don't know. I'm going to do another live stream about Lockwood because I want to learn about him. And I don't know almost anything about Finley and Harper's father. I don't. I'm being honest with you guys, but I'm going to. Priscilla and Lisa Marie were reportedly barely speaking just before and the latter deaths after Priscilla sided with Lockwood over custody of the twins. Okay, so I just want to learn a bit more about Jerry Schilling. Then I'm going to have to go, guys. Let's have a look. I just want a little bit about the history on how they met. Just a little bit more. We're learning together. I like learning with you guys. Right, let's have a look here. Ahead of co-starring in the Elvis in Concert tour, Jerry Schilling talks to Duncan Seaman about his friendship with the King. Jerry Schilling well remembers his first meeting with Elvis Presley. It was on a football field in Memphis, July the 11th, 1954, day after my birthday. Right, let's have a look. How old was Jerry Schilling when he met Elvis? He was 12 years old. Oh, there was a point where he actually quit working for Elvis. Jerry Schilling, in 1975, quit working for him on several occasions. And it says here, compromised by his boss's self-destructive behavior in 1976, I was faced with two choices. I could stay around or be a pain in the ass, or I could be a yes man. Well, there we are. See, we will have interviews from Jerry Schilling where he talks negatively about Elvis, because I've just read it here. So he quit working for Elvis twice. So this shows you there was beef. This shows you there were problems. So, and this is why I'm not completely convinced by the Jerry Schilling Elvis Presley friendship and the situation with the possibility that Jerry was having an affair with Priscilla. Yeah. Right. So we know Jerry Schilling was bought a house by Elvis. Lucky him, and he still lives in that house. Right. What did Jerry think of the Colonel? Schilling has often disagreed with the Colonel, but describes Parker as somewhat likable. I don't think the Colonel was a truly bad guy. I think he was intimidating. I think he was old school. So I read between the lines there that he liked the Colonel. Yeah. It says here, I don't think the Colonel was truly a bad guy. And I know you guys, as Elvis fans, have very strong views about Colonel Tom Parker and are very upset with how he managed Elvis. And he basically did spend decades and decades ripping off Elvis. Come on, we know that. But then you've got Jerry Schilling sticking up for him. And Priscilla was good friends with the Colonel, wasn't she? And I've watched interviews with Priscilla defending Colonel Tom Parker. Mike was no good either. Mike uses Lisa for all the money. Tell Priscilla to go to work and find a real job. I wish Lisa never married Mike. So, yeah. When you say Mike, do you mean... Oh, I'm trying to... So, obviously, right, just let me know which Mike you're talking about, Teresa. Just go through that with me. Right, here we go. Let's keep looking. Was Jerry Elvis's cousin? No. Let's have a look. Right, it mentions Jerry Schilling's wife here. Cindy Burnett was one. And then Marina Smith. That's, okay, let's have a little look at one of Jerry Schilling's interviews. Mike was no good either. Right, okay. Right, here we go. Back in 1954, the mighty hand of fate struck down hard on the gangly 12-year-old North Memphis youth named Jerry Schilling. It was there on a local football field that he first met the wild hillbilly cat known as Elvis Presley. The two forged a close friendship that lasted from the mid-50s until 1977. Jerry Schilling was a trusted friend and confidant. Let's have a look. So after Elvis died, he continued a closeness with the Presley family and with Lisa Marie, first manager, and he maintains a strong friendship with Priscilla. The book is not a whitewash. Instead, it offers a strongly balanced, keenly insightful, and most critical and crucially human portrait of the music superstar like an onion. Schilling skillfully peels back the layers and the myth, and in the process reveals the real Elvis and an immensely talented man with flaws and doubts and insecurities like the rest of us. And in humanizing Elvis, it makes him much more of a real, relatable and likable person. Isn't that a nice way of saying I told all Elvis's secrets? Isn't that? Have any of you read Jerry Schilling's book? I don't know, guys. Lisa's ex-husband. Right. Okay, let me just think. All right, Michael Lockwood. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. And I need to learn about him. I don't know enough about him at all. From the little clips I've seen is that he also is money hungry. Yeah. Is that true, Teresa? You remember what year the Fairgrounds meeting was? Right, let's have a look. What made Schilling stand out from Elvis was his desire by his own man to forge a career away from Graceland. In between stints working for Elvis, he managed the Beach Boys. But even that worries me, really. The fact he kept wanting to leave Elvis. That says a lot to me. Let's keep looking. Jerry Schilling, there was a long period of time after Elvis passed away, professionally or publicly, I didn't talk about Elvis. I tried to go on with my life professionally. Is that true, guys? There was no way I could ever make up a loss of Elvis personally. I had a management company and I was managing the Beach Boys, Jerry Lee Lewis, and worked with Billy Joel. I was more fortunate than some of my friends that didn't have those alternatives. I never expected to lose Elvis, especially at a young age. After about 10 years, I went to work for Elvis Presley Enterprises as a creative affairs director. I also got to work as a producer. I produced about 9 documentaries on Elvis shows like Elvis and the Great Performer. Now, what else did you do, Jerry Schilling, when you went back? Right. Tracy. Hi, Tracy. Myrna Smith was one of Elvis's backing singers, the Sweet Inspirations. Yeah, I think I've seen some of her interviews, Tracy. Right, let's keep going through this. I had gone back to Memphis. They had done a nationwide search to find a president, CEO of the Memphis Music Commission, and I got the job, which was unbelievable. I did that for over 3 years. I didn't even know that. So Jerry Schilling was the president, CEO of the Memphis Music Commission. Did you know that, guys? After my term was up, I went back to LA. My wife got very sick for a short period of time. I stayed with her and we were talking about our lives. I thought maybe I could write something of my life with Elvis, but I thought there's been so much written about Elvis. Could I do something that was not overdone, as I would tell my wife stories? And I felt that there was a reason to write a book. Yeah, money. We like the money. I had become close friends with Peter Guralnick when he was doing his books, The Last Train to Memphis and Careless Love, and I was going to do it. I wanted to do a first-class basis and honor my friend. And he does speak so highly of Elvis. I spent 6 months of doing proposals with my co-writer, Chuck Crisfoley. We put together a chapter 4, which was about when I went to work for Elvis and the bus drive from Memphis to LA. I was pleased with it. I felt that Chuck got my voice. And today, what happening in the last 3 decades, I wanted to go back and I was there. A shy who was, I can't read that, sorry. So, do you know what? I could go on and on. There's a lot to read here. I've been listening to Dewey Phillips on the radio since I was 10. Before Dewey came onto the scene, I was hearing my parents listening to the hit parade. It was good. The first time I heard Elvis was in the second week of 1954. The Sunday, July 1954, I got over my local playground in North Memphis, a very poor neighborhood. There were 5 older boys in and out of the high school trying to get up to the football game. That's how unpopular Elvis Presley was at the point. Elvis was just starting out and nobody knew who he was. And I know this story. Jerry just felt really lucky that Elvis allowed him to join in. So I'm going to have to end it, guys, because I've got people trying to phone me. I'm going to do a part 2 of this because there's a lot more to read about Jerry Schilling. But I want to tie this in with Jerry Schilling's friendship with Priscilla Presley as well, because I think it's more complicated than we all know. So please let me know your comments about Jerry Schilling, Jerry Schilling's friendship with Priscilla, about Jerry Schilling's friendship with Elvis. Do you think it was a genuine one? Do you think Jerry Schilling is a good guy or a bad guy? I'm just trying to get to the truth. I'm trying to get to the genuine side of Jerry. And I really want to understand the friendship between Jerry and Colonel Tom Parker as well, because that interests me, the fact that Jerry also speaks highly of Colonel Tom Parker. And I know that Jerry has done thousands of interviews praising Elvis. So I know that Jerry held Elvis in high regard and really classed him as a really good friend, a really decent guy. I think Elvis really did like Jerry a lot. And I do think Jerry Schilling loved Elvis. I really do. And I do also think that Jerry Schilling always wanted the best for Elvis. But come on, Priscilla was a stunning beauty. Jerry is just a man with the usual things that happen with men when they see a beautiful woman. So did he make mistakes through those decades? Why did Jerry keep leaving Elvis and then going back? I think he always went back because it was the money. The money would pull him back. I really believe that. So I'm not trying to trash Jerry Schilling. I just want to try and understand it all much better. Now, even Priscilla, I'd like to understand what her feelings were towards Jerry Schilling. So the whole point of this live stream is understanding Jerry and Priscilla. That's the whole point. And your comments are going to really help me do that. So please comment. If you've enjoyed this, can you like and subscribe? It always helps the channel. And thanks a lot, guys. You have a great day. And I'm going to come back later and do a part 2. So you lot have a good day. So we've got Teresa and Gail. Thanks everyone for commenting. Oh yeah, Tracy. I always appreciate you guys joining in. It really does matter to me. In fact, without your comments, I struggle to know what to talk about. So your comments really matter. And I want to learn with you guys. And I want you guys to teach me. It's really important. Take care, guys. All the best to you.